But we are reminding these agencies of this critical obligation to the people and under the Constitution. So we are within our limits, I contend.
Thank you, Honorable Numbers.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, it is true that the Constitution provides for the independence of the Electoral Commission, but I think that is in relation to the fact that the Electoral Commission itself is also doing things in accordance to the Constitution. Because it is the same Constitution that provides for the powers of the people of Uganda through their elected leaders. And it is the same Constitution that provides Parliament and its oversight law, Right Honorable Speaker. As long as the Electoral Commission is not following the Constitution and the laws of Uganda, I think it is right and prudent for Parliament, on behalf of the people of Uganda, to call them to order. For example, Right Honorable Speaker, it is provided under the Constitution that the determination of electoral areas shall be done after a census, and then that was a census in Uganda in 2024, and the Electoral Commission is saying, no, we are using 2014 census results a decade ago, more than a decade ago, Right Honorable Speaker. And by doing that, they are differentializing the people and denying them leaders. In certain places, like in my council, for example, they left us with councillors who cannot be used to constitute a council and its organs, like forming up committees of the council, i.e. the executive committee and the other working committees of the council, Right Honorable Speaker. So, Right Honorable Speaker, we should not allow the Electoral Commission to hide behind their independence to violate the Constitution. We came here and we took an oath to defend the Constitution at all times, and by calling on the Electoral Commission to do what is right, Mr. Speaker, we are defending the Constitution and ensuring that the power of the people of Uganda prevails through their elected leaders. I beg to move.
I think, honorable colleagues, my issue is not on us calling on the Electoral Commission to do a right thing. You can do it through any forum. Is us making resolutions, okay, which we are saying go implement as the Electoral Commission. Since it's a matter of the law, we have the Attorney General here. I need your guidance on this. I think,
Right Honorable Speaker, I think what your guidance is quite right. The issue is not we cannot discuss the electoral process. The issue is that what instruction are we giving? For example, if you say the EC should immediately discontinue the involvement of DSOs, PSOs, etc., etc., you have now gone to another point. So you need to tell them that the identification, no, what, for example, when you say you cannot register people who don't have NINs, that's not correct, because the law says that the Electoral Commission may use the register. It is only for identification. So you need, what I'm saying is that, and I think I agree with the Right Honorable Speaker, that when we are going about this, if we are giving advisory recommendation, they can be given on matters of principle. The moment you start telling them how to conduct a particular function, we may cross the line. That's, I think, what the Honorable Speaker is saying. Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, if I could guide, we could receive the report of the committee and have them look at the matter.
Yeah, thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, I want to give my ruling on this matter. Okay? I'm uncomfortable presiding over a house which is interfering with the powers of a body of which we as legislators said should be independent. If we wanted to interfere, we should have expressly stated it here. I just want to make that very clear. But I consulted a little bit, been talking to the Electoral Commission following up on these issues. Let us send this report to them as a gesture of goodwill and showing because the report has captured what we are looking at. Let us, because the moment we say we first adopt it, then Rule 220 will require them to come and report here within certain timelines. But let us take advantage of the goodwill that Parliament has shown the Electoral Commission. We send them this report, and we shall, at an appropriate time, Minister of Justice will update us. Okay? Yeah, will update us on this. Now, yes, Rob. I've made my ruling. Rule 87 guides you on how to challenge my ruling.
Honorable Speaker.
Just go to the rules, you can challenge my ruling. Yes.
Honorable Speaker, without revisiting your ruling, I'm just trying to see how we get a balancing act so that the concerns raised by the people of Uganda through the legislators are attended to. How do we get committal from government that they are going to attend to these issues, and for that matter by way of an update, because these issues are very critical, they are of concern out there. So I don't know, maybe let me wait to get your attention, sir. I wanted to see how you could guide, right, Honorable Speaker, how we get committal from government to address these concerns of the general public, because these are cross-cutting issues. Cross-cutting, by the way. This side, that's what our people are raising as concerns.
Can I have the attention of the Attorney General?
So how do we, Mr. Attorney General and government, get committal that these issues of concern are going to be addressed in a timely manner? Because that's what is hovering over us, really.
Attorney General?
Right Honorable Speaker, we can have the Minister of Justice come back here, say next week, to report on the actions that have been taken, having listened to what Parliament has to say, in form of reporting back on the process of...
we can say, Attorney General, we can say, the Minister updates the House, okay? And on the process. And in the update, he takes cognizance of these issues which had been raised here. Now, that even gives us the freedom to debate his statement. Okay, it makes it much easier for me to manage the debate on the floor. So, colleagues, next item. No, please. No, let me make it very clear on this issue. No procedure, okay? I'm done. Next item.
Item number 7 on the order paper. Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industry on the museums and monuments, in brackets, declaration of protected heritage resources and heritage resources of significant value to Uganda, regulations 2024.
So, Attorney General, the process ends on Monday. Can the Minister of Justice update us on Thursday? Okay? Yeah, let the Minister update us on Thursday.
Sure, right, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Just wait. No, wait a bit. Honorable colleagues, on this item, number 7, just... Please, I'm on item number 7. By the way, it's not mandatory that I allow procedure. Colleagues, I just want to make it very clear. It's in my discretion that I can allow any point of interruption of debate in the House. So I request you, when I say procedure, sometimes I've been also pushed very far, okay, and I need to move. I'm stuck somewhere, okay. Honorable colleagues, on Thursday, 17th October 2024, the Honorable Minister of State for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Honorable Martin Bahinduka Mugara, tabled the museums and monuments bracket declaration of protected heritage resources and heritage resources of significant value to Uganda. Regulations, statutory instrument number 69 of 2024, which the House referred to the Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industry for scrutiny in accordance with Section 95 of the Museum and Monuments Act, Cap 149. Section 95 of the Museums and Monuments Act states that the Minister may, by statutory instrument, on the recommendation of the Department, make regulations for better carrying into effect the provision. Again, working with our clerk, we should be ensuring this doesn't happen. Pachuto? I can pick on a white shirt. You look for the microphone.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, previously I asked a question to the Minister of Internal Affairs whether women that dress up in hijab would be allowed to register with their photographs taken with their hijab. And the Minister said yes, they would be allowed as long as they dressed in accordance with ICOA standards. Right Honorable Speaker, ICOA standard is just the way I am dressed. I've even searched to look for pictorial evidence how ICOA standards are. But I regret to inform the ministers here in the House that Muslim women are again forced to remove their headscarf. They are told ears should be out. ICOA standards do not say ears should be out. The registration exercise is about to expire. Can the Attorney General be comment to this so that the Muslim women be given the right to practice their faith and yet be able to exercise their democratic role of voting their people, and also being able to possess identity cards in the way they want to look like? Because the minister had said they would be allowed. I don't know what is wrong. The technical people say that their machines are programmed in a way that ears should be displayed. But ICOA standards of dressing is just the way I am dressed. Can we be guided by the front bench on how Muslim women should be registered? Thank you.
Thank you. Now, as we come to that, without the presiding officers taking away their responsibility, which includes supervising the committee leaderships and the clerks. I have seen here the office of the clerk received the report on monuments on 31st of January 2025. Okay? So which was way beyond the 30 days. So also the committee, but we are going to go back. I just wanted to put it on record that we should have ensured ourselves that it comes before that time. So I will ask, I will talk to the clerk, that will also bring in the committee clerk to know why a committee clerk should allow this to happen, because they are technical people who should be knowing this deadline. Attorney General, you've heard Honorable Aisha Kabanda.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I have quickly flipped through the law and didn't tell us how a person should be when they are taking the picture. So I need to get some time to understand that. Obviously, I think there are certain things that must be done. I think the face must be clear. I don't know. I'm going to just read on it and understand, because understand how it needs to be done. I really don't have an answer right now.
Thank you. Honorable Attorney General, this is a concern of the Muslim community. You kindly take it up serious. I had allowed Honorable Pachuta.
Thank you, Right Honorable.
Maybe it can be one of the issues. Attorney General, Honorable Attorney General, can it, when they are updating us, they can touch on this issue on Thursday? Okay? Yeah. Thank you. Honorable
Thank you,
Pachuta.
Right Honorable. Right Honorable, I appreciate the fact that you have apologized and also guided. But Honorable, Right Honorable, I'm seeking further guidance when a committee like the one of trade now has sat, made a report, and brought to Parliament, and it has been referred like it has been referred now, and we, the representatives of the people, that have felt that would add value by making a contribution on the floor, because some of these monuments, for instance, are there in our districts. How would you guide us on how we can proceed now that we are not going to debate? How can we present the views of our people, the recommendations of our people, the desires of our people? Right, Honorable. That's what I wanted to seek, because I'd really prepared myself to make a contribution on the committee's report, because I have several monuments in Pakwach districts, some developed, some not developed, some not even marketed at all. So, Right Honorable, I seek for your guidance. I thank you.
Thank you. Now, Honorable, unfortunately, the consequences of our mistake, we face them together. Okay? Honorable Jonathan Odur, you wanted to comment on the same?
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Speaker, this instrument is part of the laws that we make here, and they are not cast in the stone. If there are issues with the instrument, the minister can still, in my opinion, amend that instrument and come back here. So the best way forward in the circumstance would be for the members to reach out so that the minister can again commence a process of reviewing it. But coming back to the core issue of this delay, Mr. Speaker, sir, I summarize it to one thing. Committees are not given money to do business at the right time. When you retreat back and you hold a meeting with the clerk and maybe the Minister of Finance, let committees of Parliament be provided money in a timely manner to conduct business. If you interrogate the reason for this delay, you'll find that the committee did not have money. And I think that is what we should address. Once money is available, this Parliament and the members of Parliament are really competent to dispose of these matters, even within a week or two, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. That's well noted. Honorable Jonathan Odur, what you've said is really in line with how I had guided the minister. And the minister had committed. So let's go on with that commitment from the minister. Honorable Pachito, your issues will be served under that. No, next item.
Item number 8 on the order paper. Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industry on persistent human-wildlife conflict in national parks and wildlife game reserves in Uganda.
Honorable Chair.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I wish to present the House the report on the Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industry on persistent human-wildlife conflict in national parks and wildlife game reserves in Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker, the Committee on Trade and Tourism was assigned to consider the matter with guidance to emphasize aspects related to government compensation to victims of human-wildlife conflict, specifically to establish whether victims of human-wildlife conflict were compensated and related matters. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee wishes to inform this House that whereas the matter raised by the Honorable Okello Geoffrey Charles was limited to havoc caused by elephants among some residents of Noya district, the committee considered other wild animals involved in incidents of human wildlife across the country. Right Honorable Speaker and members, in accordance with the instruction of this House, the committee wishes to present its report on the matters. Right Honorable Speaker, briefly I'll go through the terms of reference because they will guide us in the report. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee was guided by the following terms of reference. 1, to establish the extent of damage, loss, or death suffered by victims of human-wildlife conflict, to establish whether government compensates victims or survivors of victims for losses suffered on accounts of human-wildlife conflict, to establish government adherence to the legal framework on the compensation of deaths, injury, loss, and damage to property arising from incidents of human-wildlife conflict, and to consider the matters that are incidental to human-wildlife conflict in areas adjacent to wildlife parks. Right Honorable Speaker, because of time, I'll skip the methodology, but just to bring it to the attention of the House, that the committee, among the methodology, the committee extended invitation to members representing areas adjacent to national parks where incidences of human-wildlife conflicts have occurred, and members from the following districts interfaced with the committee. The districts are listed there. Right Honorable Speaker, because of time, I'll go straight to observations, findings, and recommendations of the committee with your guidance. Right Honorable Speaker, number one term of reference, extent of damage, loss, or death suffered by victims of human-wildlife conflict in areas adjacent to national parks and game reserves in Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker and members, in the course of considering the matter with the ministry responsible for wildlife and UWA, the committee established that some incidents of human-wildlife conflicts have resulted in injury, loss, and damage to property. The committee further established that livestock has been preyed upon by predators and destruction of crops by herbivores. A list of claims received by UWA is attached hereto and marked as Appendix F, which I will lay. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee received testimonies from affected persons on incidences of human-wildlife conflict that have occurred in areas adjacent to national parks and wildlife game reserves in Uganda. For instance, Right Honorable Speaker, I'll just mention A, death of Amunyo, Longoli, and Angok Dennis. Right Honorable Speaker, these were killed by buffaloes. B, the death of Mr. Jacob Mujizi. Right Honorable Speaker, he was equally killed by a buffalo. It's from Barara. Right Honorable Speaker, C, we have baboon attacks on Sensa Mwesije. This one is from Rubizi District. D, Right Honorable Speaker, displacement of families occasioned by human-wildlife conflicts. During the committee's visit to some hotspots in Noya District where incidents of human-wildlife conflict occur, the committee was informed that 7 families sought sanctuary at Gonyogo Community Primary School in Gonyogo Village, Lutuka Parish, after their homesteads were destroyed by elephants. The committee was informed by UWA that the Wildlife Conservation Committee had since gazetted. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee was informed by UWA that the Wildlife Compensation Committee had since gazetted of Uganda Wildlife Scheme 2022, convened 12 times and verified 583 claims and recommended the same to the Board of Trustees for approval. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, you can see the extract in Appendix H. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee was informed by UWA that factors such as increasing human-wildlife population, wildlife habitat loss, climate change, and wildlife fires have orchestrated human-wildlife conflict. The committee was further informed by UWA that despite clear boundary demarcations, human beings residing in areas adjacent to national parks have defied 315 to include other wild species like caracals that cause destruction to human lives and property, but are currently not included in Schedule 4 of the Act. Right Honorable Speaker, behavior instincts of wild animals. The committee observed that wild animals have instincts and unique behaviors. For instance, herds of herbivores like zebras, impalas, antelopes, elephants, and buffaloes will migrate to different locations following specific routes purposely to feed, breed, and raise their. And carnivores like lions, hyenas, and leopards are territorial in nature and will mark their hunting grounds with urine as a sign of their dominancy over their grounds. According to research carried out on elephant migration triggers and effects on the surrounding environment, it was established that elephants' migration is unique because elephants do not migrate internally like other species such as zebras and hummingbirds. These species are born with an innate sense to migrate every year at a certain point without fail. The study stated that elephants can make a concise decision to migrate based on when they feel necessary, and that causal factors that may lead to their migration include habitat loss, search for nutrition, and avoiding predators. That migration of elephants can be triggered in some ways, and this migration caused considerable damage to the surrounding environment. The committee observes, Right Honourable Speaker, that some causal factors like increasing human population that lead to habitat loss has driven wild animals like elephant out of their original sanctuaries to safer havens, and in the process engage in destructive activities of development encountered along their known paths or routes. The committee observed that elephants will remigrate to their original habitats where humans would have established settlements which result in human-wildlife conflict. Recommendation of the committee on that one. The committee recommends that UWA identifies high-risk animal corridors and routes with the intention of prioritizing target interventions, including installing electric fences and trenches, among others, to those areas to deter animal movements therein. Right Honourable Speaker, UWA engages with communities residents in areas where elephants live close to proximity to human settlement. In the meantime, engage in measures such as planting of chilies and hot red pepper in gardens to prevent elephants from destroying crops. Right Honourable Speaker, government compensation to victims of human wildlife. Section 83 of Wildlife Act authorizes UWA to establish and maintain wildlife compensation scheme that consists 2% of money collected by the authority from services it offers, money appropriated by Parliament, and money from any other sources appropriated by the board. The money is used for financing compensation claims for human deaths, injuries, or damage to property caused by wildlife outside a protected area. Right Honourable Speaker, the table below, it shows the performance of the 2% Wildlife Fund in respect of the Wildlife Compensation Fund, which I'll not go through. I'll just read the recommendation. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee, I'll read the observation. The committee observed that total transfers of 3.9 billion that UWA made to the compensation scheme fund account were below the 2%, which is equivalent to 7 billion. Required as prescribed under Section 83 of the Wildlife Act 315, giving rise to a variance of 3.1 billion. Upon further examination of the bank statements provided by UWA, Right Honourable Speaker, I'll provide them, the committee established that 682 million was paid out in respect of 121 claims. Right Honourable Speaker, the table is below. 3 claims in financial year 2022-2023 and 118 in 2023-2024 that were verified by UWA. Right Honourable Speaker, the table is there, and below it, whereas the committee noted that the Uganda Wildlife Compensation Scheme Regulations 2022 prescribes under Clause 18 that in case of death, the victims shall be compensated to an amount not exceeding 20 million. The committee observed that they were disproportionate payment to beneficiaries for loss of life on account of human life conflict. Right Honourable Speaker and members, the committee examined bank statement provided by UWA reflecting compensation payment and observed that they reflected different compensation amounts for human life lost on account of human life conflict. The committee noted that claimants received varying figures. For instance, while some claimants received 17 million, others received 10 million, while others received maximum amount of 20 million as provided for under the regulation. Right Honourable Speaker, recommendation. The committee recommends that UWA fully complies with Section 83 of the Uganda Wildlife Act on the transfer of the 2% to the compensation scheme fund account of the money collected by the authority for the services it offers. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee recommends for standardization and minimizing abuse of the fund, the minister responsible for wildlife amends the regulations to provide for a 10% for the maximum compensation payable as financial support for burial arrangements in case of loss of life, which will be deducted once compensation is made. Right Honourable Speaker, government adherence to the legal framework in compensation of victims of human-wildlife conflicts. Challenges to compensation of victims of human-wildlife conflict. Right Honourable Speaker and members, the committee noted noted from the submissions made by the victims of human-wildlife conflicts that UWA requires the victims from the communities where there are no UWA offices to pick confirmation claims forms from nearby police stations or posts, the insurance of which allegedly requires them to pay unspecified amount of money, which the communities are not comfortable with. The committee, however, noted that the schedule to the Wildlife Compensation Scheme Regulation 2022 provides simplified forms for claims for compensation for injury or death of a person caused by wildlife injury or deaths of livestock caused by wild animals and for property damage by wild animals. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee further noted that UWA requires victims of human-wildlife conflict to have bank accounts, to have bank account numbers registered in their own names, or those without to open them for the purpose of depositing money in respect of settlement of claims for the compensation. UWA informed the committee that failure to process payment for compensations were caused by the delay in gazetting the Uganda Wildlife Compensation Scheme Regulations 2022, inconsistent and inadequate information from claimants, delayed court rulings on possible dangers of human-wildlife interaction and peaceful coexistence. Right Honourable Speaker, installation of the electric fences to mitigate human-wildlife conflict. The committee was informed by UWA that a total of 105 kilometers of electric fences have been installed in some sections of the boundaries of Queen Elizabeth National Park and 153 kilometers along some areas of boundaries of Action Falls National Park, while in Kidepo Valley National Park, no installation of fence had started. Right Honourable Speaker, we put an Appendix K on that. The committee was further informed that plans were underway to install an electric fence along the remaining sections of the boundaries of Queen Elizabeth National Park, that's 62, and Action Falls National Park, that's 112, during the financial year 2024-2025. There are plans of concluding the aforementioned parks during financial year 2025-2026, in addition to commencing the fencing of Kibale National Park and Kidepo Valley National Park. Right Honourable Speaker, we attached all those in Annex L and Annex M accordingly. The committee further observed that while in some parts of the boundaries of the protected areas, the electric fence mounted on wooden poles had been damaged and destroyed by termites, hence allowing the free movement of animals out of the protected areas into the communities. Other parts of the protected boundaries had electric fence mounted on fiber poles, which are more durable, hence effectively restricting animal movement. Recommendation of the committee in that matter. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee recommends that government allocates funds to UWA to ensure the timely completion of the installation and maintenance of electric fences around the boundaries of national parks to mitigate incidences of human-wildlife conflict. Right Honourable Speaker and members, as instructed by this August House, the committee considered the matter on human-wildlife conflicts.
They already are covered.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Chair. This is your maiden report? So we should pass it without discussion? Yes. No, I'm just, it's on a light note, Honourable colleague, because you usually say when it's maiden, no interruption. But, Honourable Minister, I just wanted to ask, is there, because you received the report, Arya, you read through, is there a few clarifications you wanted to make which would guide us in the debate from the report, or everything is perfect? And we also assigned you the issue of Honourable Chemonge that you would respond to it today as we are debating. And if it's not there, don't bother.
No. Yeah. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. And I want to thank the Chair and the committee for the wonderful report. And we intend to look into the committee. But maybe just to start with the it's a committee recommendation that we provide for monkeys, squirrels, snakes. This could be a bit difficult because then it becomes a bigger problem. I think the intention when members were passing this law in 2019 was that we mainly focus on the animals that we have in the protected areas, and these are mainly the lions. But if we open it up to the snakes And also relocating them to the protected areas may not be as easy as we think it is. But these are recommendations that we'll look into.
We shall add you termites.
So you can see the challenge, Right Honorable Speaker. I know members are going to raise a lot of issues to do with the fencing. Right Honorable Speaker, we have done a proper survey. No, it's already in the report.
That's why I said if there are issues,
yes.
you can clarify on,
yes,
so that they help us when we are having a
yes.
debate. We don't repeat ourselves.
Yes, and I want to thank the committee. When they were giving the report, they talked about the areas that we had fenced and those that we had not fenced. We have the amount of money, what we need to do the fence. The issue is really the funding, but we'd have no problem, and probably we get the support from this House and government so that we resolve this matter going forward by implementing and using the fiber poles, not the wooden ones that have been affected by termites. They are more expensive, but they are better solution. On the issue of human-wildlife conflict, Right Honorable Speaker, just like the Chair said, most of these animals you see, specifically if we use the elephants that are disturbing most of us, time back, probably, most of these areas were sparsely populated with less human activity. It's obvious now that the population is more dense. These elephants will always go back to the areas where they were taken as young ones. They tend to remember these migratory routes and go back. And when they do, they find the communities. And the only solution is really the fence, the electric fence. It has worked. And my prayer is the moment we implement it, we'll have most of these issues done away with. On the recommendation of the committee to raise the compensation figure from 2% to 10% is an issue we'll discuss and see how to go about it. But also on the length of time taken between injury or time or death caused by wildlife and the time when someone gets compensation, we agree it is lengthy. We are looking at the regulations. We've only been implementing them for probably 2 years, and we are working on amending them to make the period shorter. Usually it has been between 5 to 6 months, and I want to request Parliament and the committee that probably in the next 3 months we'll have amendments to these regulations. In conclusion, Chair, on the issue raised by Honorable Chemonges, and we were on a conference call today with the warden and the rest of the team. Unfortunately, of course, it was an unfortunate incident. We've taken some action as well. I don't want to go into the counter accusations, but the 4 officers that were involved have been suspended. I have personally written a letter to the Inspector General of Police to take interest in the matter, help us with the investigation, so that if our officers are found culpable, then they are dealt with by the law. Unfortunately, there has not been burial yet of the victim. It's now a matter beyond our control because it involves 2 families that are disagreeing on where to lay the victim to rest. But we have availed support to the family of around 6.5 million to help with the burial. And then we'll continue the engagements to see, in case we are found culpable, first of all, to deal with the errant officers that participated in this, but also to see how we continue discussions with the family so that we continue with a good relation between the community and our rangers. Those are the main issues, but I want to assure you, Right Honorable Speaker and the House, that we are going to look into all the recommendations made by the Commission.
That comment comes after we have adopted the report. What if it's rejected?
Thank you.
Yes. Honorable Bigaro. I will pick Honorable Bigaros. I pick Toro here. I pick the 2 gentlemen. I pick. No, I'm sorry. I'm starting with this side. I'm coming this way. Okay. Yes. I pick Abim. Then and faced. Couldn't hear. Then I come. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I want to, in the same vein, thank the committee and congratulate them for a wonderful report. Right, Honorable Speaker, 2 to 3 weeks ago, on the floor of Parliament here, my sister from Obongi brought a report here where a hippo broke a bone of somebody. And then after that, after 2 weeks, the hippo also broke bones of 2 people. And killed animals. Up to today, there is nothing done to these people who are hospitalized. But again, they have said, the minister has said they are going to reduce on their time. But compassionate contributions, if at all, is supposed to be merged with the contributions at the end, or compensation. Honestly, treatment is an emergent issue. I would kindly request that the period to help this person should be as an emergency as possible. Lastly, UA prefers animals to human beings. I can tell you West Nile has gone through a lot. We were here on the floor of Parliament talking about the Karuma Road. We have not come back over this issue of Karuma Road. UA is already charging our people. This was a presidential directive. UA loves money. They spend money at source, but they cannot at all fence. How can normal human beings put wooden fences and they're destroyed by termites? When wooden fences can be treated, what happened? Luxury in spending taxpayers' money. I think UA should wake up and do quality work than just come here, you treat our people like we don't matter. I want to understand how you are charging our people before the Parliament has pronounced itself. The road is not yet complete. Our road is so badly off, you want us to die on that road. Thank you.
Now, honorable colleagues, this debate, I see where it's going. The matters are very straightforward. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes each. Honorable Kagwera.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. In the report, I have not heard the inadequacy of the staff. These people are constrained because they are very few, and we need to add on the numbers. Right Honorable Speaker, about the trenches, these animals are now wiser than they were before. They cover them. They cover them. Now, I think it's good that we use electricity. Unfortunately, when we talk about the termites, it's very disturbing, because, you know, the umeme poles remain for years. But when you stand and say we put there and they were destroyed by termites, then the work is really very dangerous. Right Honorable Speaker, about the response of UA, at times they deliberately refuse to come. People call them, they have vehicles, and they report like in 4 or 5 days. I believe, Right Honorable Speaker, that we need to do much better. Otherwise, like my colleague has said, people think government prefers animals to human beings, and it causes us a lot of problems. The number of people that have been compensated and those that have been killed are much lower than what is on ground. Sometime back, I used to chair this same committee, and we know here, 5 people are killed the same night. We are together with the Honorable Minister present here in my constituency. So many people have been killed, and the compensation is a nightmare. The procedures are really a nightmare. Therefore, Honorable Minister, we need to do much better. We really value our animals, but we value the human beings more, because these animals are here because of the people of Uganda, and we need to do a lot, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. Adzai Forest Reserve and the Adzai National Game Park is from Adiokolo, border between Arua District, Vora constituents. Last week, these animals crossed to Arua District in Vora, destroyed a lot of crops. I'm requesting you, through the minister, then to go on the ground and check the area, and also to go and put also fence that line, because many people of Vora are now suffering a lot. These animals, they always crossing, destroy very many crops, and it's going to cause a lot of problems. I request the minister to consider Mario Kolo, this is Ajay Forest Reserve. This is in West Nile. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Evan. Honorable Magwell.
Yeah. All right, Honorable Speaker. I think matters of human-wildlife conflict have appeared on the floor of Parliament more than other motions, always, because it touches life. I one time asked a question here we have a problem major of elephants. But in all national parks, do we have to multiply in numbers to infinity? Don't we have to reach a certain number so that there is culling, so that there is removal of some of the old, unwanted, because they are a target of number of elephants that are needed in every national park. I suppose that some other national parks, the numbers are now exceeding. And then this human-wildlife conflict will continue again and again. I think there is a time we should reach and say, for this national park, we need to do culling. I submit.
Yeah, I think when these animals, some of them, I think they are like we human beings. Being near the national park, my people usually tell me when they are coming for the evening talk and all that, they say a person who has tasted wild meat, most of them, even if you give him a whole cow, and then there is 1 kilo of wild meat, he will go for 1 kilo of wild meat. Then they get addicted. So it seems even these elephants and all that, when they cross over, they take bananas, they eat bananas, they get addicted. It's not just an issue of numbers. Because I'm like in Queen Elizabeth, I'm told our animal numbers are small, that we need more animals in Queen Elizabeth. But now they keep crossing over to my constituency. I have around 3 sub-counties. I can tell you it's been disaster. I took Honorable Martin here. He went, he gave us hope. We survived on it for a month or 2. Now he has even refused to come back. So it's a real disaster. Yes, I had allowed a beam.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And I want to thank the committee for the very good report. Honorable Speaker, when the committee came on the ground, in a beam, I was on the ground. And I think the committee saw the mood of the people. In that meeting, the committee was informed that 5 sub-counties in a beam are affected by wildlife, especially elephants. The 2 persons that the chairperson read their names, one was killed by a buffalo and one was killed by an elephant. And that was a very young person. The honorable colleague is saying we need to weed out the old ones. But I want to inform this House that even those old ones are very dangerous. Just yesterday, we lost 2 people, the Bazungus, while they were doing sport hunting in Kidepo National Park. So I want to appeal to the minister. There was a presidential directive to fence off Kidepo National Park. Abim, for example, doesn't border any park. The 7 affected sub-counties do not border any park or any wildlife reserve. But you can imagine elephants walking from Karenga, passing Kabong, coming to Kotido, and being resident in Abim. It is very unfortunate. And Right Honorable Speaker, from the time the committee left Abim, nothing has changed. The affected families don't have food. They have not been supported. So I appeal to government to support their supporters who are going to vote tomorrow. Right Honorable Speaker, I also want the minister to ensure the presidential...
Karvanga, then Pachuto.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Going straight to the point, I was touched by the minister's observation that there are a number of people who have been compensated. Yet in Kiriandongo, which lies along the Karuma Wildlife Reserve, a lot of cases have been reported, but there is no single compensation so far. We are blessed we did a trench. These animals are so curious. The elephants have learned how to tread on the soils and cover the trench and walk over. We were promised, and actually latrine was constructed in Nyakarongo. Poles were delivered at Nyamahasa with a view of fencing off. I don't know how those poles migrated from that place. the minister told us, you know what, the budget is small. May I appeal to this parliament to appropriate enough funds so that we solve this matter once and for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Pachuto.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I must thank the committee for the good report. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to draw attention of this House, also alluding on what the minister stated. Not all the wild animals live in the park. Some of these animals live in the water bodies of Uganda. For example, the Albert Nile. We have so many crocodiles, and my people of Pakwach have suffered several times. I did ask the Minister of Tourism here, I think a year ago, what plans government has to put the electric fences, at least at the landing sites. We have one of the landing sites where these hippos, not crocodiles, hippos and crocodiles as well. But crocodiles, my people have suffered so much from crocodiles. We have Pakwach Secondary School. They move as far as Pakwach Secondary School, and there are no fences. Fisherman, I'm going to give you. The other thing is, the report points out the fact about compensation. But, Honourable Speaker, we are not so much interested in money. Our people are not so much interested in money. When you have lost your person, money can never buy it. We passed laws here. Who is responsible for popularizing these laws? I went about all my parishes and told people about the act. But what is the ministry doing to inform our people about the do's and don'ts in the park, for instance, and about the law? I am just hearing it now that when somebody has to be compensated, you have to have a bank account. Right, Honourable Minister, Speaker.
Thank you. My sister, that form, if you look at it, it's near like a PDM form. You know, I tried to print PDM forms for my people. I found 8 pages out of how many were regulations and all that, which people in the village don't understand. Someone wants money, doesn't want to know about. So, but I think that's very good guidance from Honorable Pachuto. Us who are coming from those areas, Honorable Minister, our aim is not to get compensation from you, because the compensation you're even giving is inadequate and it's not even timely. And you will not manage that compensation. It's so huge. So I think, Honorable colleagues, what we should do is to support the ministry in ensuring that they restrain, we prevent all this from happening. Because people are not interested in your compensation. It comes as a last resort. Can we stop animals? Can we do anything possible? We stop animals from coming and destroying our crops. I'll pick Honorable Achon, then I go to Honorable Sasaga.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, and I would like to add my voice on a committee report. Honourable Speaker, you know, these animals, they do not require travel visa or passport. So they just move anywhere. Otuke, whatever is affecting Abim, it's affecting Otuke as well. Each year, we have this buffalo, which they come from Kidepo. Kidepo is about 190 kilometers from Otuke. Just last year in July, we had 2 lions which escaped. They came to Otuke. And the situation was worsening, where by 7 p.m., everybody was already gone to bed because they were in fear. I think the only way we would advise, let the government come up with a solution of making a fence. This is all what will help. If we don't do this, even the district of people who are far away from the game park, they will always have these challenges. They will always be killed. Just last week, just in Kampala in Bayogere, we had a leopard. I don't know where the leopard came from. That's very far away. Me personally, I saw it at night where the dog was barking throughout. A huge wild cat. So you wonder what can be this big wild cat which you see. It's not a line. So you just wonder, at night we do not know what's going on. We should assume to have any wild animals coming into these villages, every places. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Sasaga. Then Amisindo.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I come from Udajil East, which is on the Mount Elgon slope. And I wonder if the scope and the terms of reference were stopping the other side, because I don't see any district to do with Mount Elgon from your report. Number two, these areas which were made game parks initially were game reserves. And are they expected in the committee report that why some of these areas the communities have continuously violated the boundaries of these game parks, these communities were not compensated. As the land was taken over by government from the game reserves, which the ministers are aware, like for example Mount Elgon Belt to the national park, the communities living in there were supposed to be compensated by government. Up to date, they have never been compensated. Out of 21 sub-counties in my constituency, 6 of them have been affected. 6 of them have not been compensated. So I could recommend that at least government expedites the process, as one of your recommendations in that report, of paying these communities, so that communities can be able to observe the demarcation by UA. The second one, you talk about electric fencing, but in Mount Elgon region, you will discover all these areas, communities neighboring Mount Elgon, electricity has never reached there. Honorable Minister, in your planning, you could at least have captured and ensured that those areas should have the electricity. The last one is about monkeys. Much as we recommend electric fencing, I don't know if they also capture the monkeys.
Netari City.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And I want to thank the Chair and the committee for the report. Right Honorable Speaker, the issue of unclear boundaries. This is something that has been on the floor of this Parliament, I think since I've been here, and that was in the 8th Parliament. We've talked about clear boundaries in the national parks. Right Honorable Speaker, it has not yielded results. And this is one issue that is causing the conflict between UWA and the people living near the reserved areas. Honorable Minister, what has held us in ascertaining the boundaries? In one part of the region, they talk about 1994 boundary. You go to the other one, they are speaking about 95. Which boundary are we implementing? Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to inform the Minister that your UWA officials hire land in the reserved areas to the people who live closer to the national park. They allow them to plant crops. And when they are transferred and the new team comes in, they also expect to be paid. And when the people refuse, telling them that we paid to the officials who left, they cut the crops. Look into this matter and let your officials respect the boundaries. If they are saying no planting of crops, let them not hire this land out. And if they hire the land out and they find mature crops, let them allow people harvest the crops and they leave. The last issue, Honorable Minister, you...
Thank you. Yeah, that's honorable colleagues. Give me 1 minute. We look. I give you information on the issue of the boundaries. Because I went to welcome the committee as an area member of Parliament for Hinda North when they came, visited Queen Elizabeth on this issue. And Honorable Minister and Attorney General, the director the director for Rigo in UA updated us on what they were doing, which will require you, Honourable Minister, to see how it can be expedited in cabinet. UA sat down and said, look, let us be realistic. Which one is our land? Which land are we occupying? Why are we quarreling with people every day? We are entering down, we are entering where? Okay? Now, they say the Constitution stops them from degazetting, but not from adjusting their boundaries properly, adjusting their boundaries. And this is where the problem was. And we shall need help, because this is the same government here. You go, like, what is funny, if you are to go by the boundaries they are talking about, Mbare around the city will be gone. My home in Mitoma will be gone. Because when our parents came in 1952, the government then gave them Queen Elizabeth National Park. So they gave them Queen Elizabeth National Park. We have 3 sub-counties of Bachiga down there. The moment you are to follow your boundaries, recently NFA came and said you're in Imaramagambo forest and marked. And, you know, people started running around. We cause panic as if we are not serving people of Uganda. We are not. Why don't we live a realistic life? So UA and Attorney General, why I called on you, is I need you to interest yourself into what they've done. So they said they did a mapping. I think, Honourable Minister, is it the updated one is around 2022? They have an updated one. Yes, they've done a mapping. They are supposed to come to cabinet. And you look into this issue so that you sort out issues of human-wildlife conflict. Whereby, in fact, river-own human-wildlife conflict. UA people conflict. Where UA is saying, like, Mbare is a national park, Mbare town. Okay? And I think we should move Mbare. We move Mbare, but these you will find that these are issues which were determined by the government then. These people didn't put themselves there. For us, Pachiga, when we were coming, Omugabe Gasionga brought my grandfather. And they said, energy, wherever you can stop cutting, that's the land you will take. That's how we have land there. Otherwise, all of us, over 60,000 people, you will have to take us out. We need titles. We need what you even did allow people to do titles. Now you're coming, you are saying you're in our land. I have passionately talked about this because of the Ergon issue. Ergon is bad. People are doing bad. We promise, we never implement. So, Attorney General, I request you interest yourself in this matter with the Directorate of Rigo in UA and the Minister, because they told us they've gotten a solution, they need it in cabinet. And they said this is the only realistic way we are going to solve the issues to do with contestation of land between UA and the local people. I'm sorry I've gone deeper, but I felt I should give you that information since I was there. So, Sechanzi, then Emma.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the committee for good touching report they have presented. Why am I saying that this report is touching? Really, I was weighing animal life and human life. Because when I was looking at compensation, really, in case you are caught poaching, the fine is 20 billions. And for the death of a human being, the compensation is only 20 millions. Really, this report is touching. I want to urge the ministry, since here when you are doing the resolutions, you need to bring them here. We also discuss them. I request that one through you, Right Honorable. I want to thank you.
Thank you. Congressman.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the committee for a good report. And Right Honorable Speaker, for us, like my colleague Jen has said, who are around the waters, we have the added burden which is being occasioned on us by the UPDF operations. And sometimes, through their operations, people, as they are running away from the UPDF, they go into areas where there are a lot of hippos. Their boats are broken. The people are killed. So, and it is one government. It's so painful for us. So in that way, I ask that our people need to be protected in that way. Then, number two, Right Honorable Speaker, from what I hear, it's like when they are in their offices, when they are within the park, they don't have any structure amongst the communities to support them. I'm suggesting if they would be having liaison persons, and the government has community development officers in the sub-counties that surround, why can't you pick on them and you provide them maybe extra training and they become like liaison persons for you so that they can help to bridge the gap between the UA people and the community people? So that is a suggestion I wanted to give. Then finally, I am suggesting also that the money you keep giving to the sub-counties surrounding the park as a way of payback, if you could also have...
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Wall.
Thank you, Right Honorable
Santa.
Speaker. Two things only. One is, we know that tourism collects a lot of revenue. I don't know why you cannot ask for enough to let you complete this boundary, the electric boundaries, to at least control elephants and other animals. I cannot talk of crocodiles or the hippopotamus, but at least elephants. Then number two, compensation of human being, 1 million. And for human being who goes to do this poaching, you already had that. At least for those people who live near the park, they are already used to eating this wild what? Game meat. And you are found, then it is your life. Why do we have to kill people? We should get better way of controlling other than killing. And if we are paying people 20 million, it should be 20 million for all. Not others 1 million, others 3 million, others 5 million, then others 10 million, and none is 20 million. Minister, please help us. At least you try to standardize that. Otherwise, thank you very much for the report of the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Santa. Then for Honorable Guzuri. Oh, I said Santa followed by Oguzuri.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for your protection. I want to thank the committee for at least coming to our areas, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to address myself to the Minister. Honorable Minister, we have been having some animals disturbing people, eating cows, goats, sheep, ever since last August. Up to now, we have not got any response, and this animal is still there. Mr. Speaker, I was in the constituency over the weekend. 2 cows were eaten, goats, and people are so scared. Around this time, people are preparing to enter their houses, Mr. Speaker. This is so strange that we have a government responsible to protect people's lives and their properties. So when are you coming to our rescue, Honorable Minister? 2, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of compensation, we have lost so many people before our area, part of our area was fenced. Up to now, we have not seen any compensation. 3, on the crocodiles. Much as part of our area was fenced, we still have crocodiles eating our people. So what are you going to do about this? We need protection, Mr. Speaker. And finally, Mr. Speaker, I would like to add my voice to Honorable Ongerso about training the local people. We need a rapid response unit to help our people in such cases, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Guzuri, then Honorable Seungu, then Honorable Aaron.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have all known tourism has the potential to transform this country. And I think what is eluding us is the planning for the sector. If you look at the budget for this financial year, I think the sector got about 200 and something billion. In NDP3, this sector should have been allocated more than 2.9 trillion shillings, but it has never got it. So when we cry here about the impact of wild animals, we must be mindful of our role as people who appropriate resources. The budget framework paper has been here. What is in the framework paper for this sector? I agree with those who say this issue has been here, recurring. Every time we are singing about it, but there is no action. So who should we blame? Should we blame the minister? Where does he get money to compensate the people? I think we must poke right into our holes and stand on our ground. When it comes to budgeting, we must ensure not less than 5% of the, 0.5% of the budget is appropriated to the tourism sector if we want to reap. Globally, tourism is contributing up to $9.5 trillion to GDPs, and we're only getting 0.1. If you look at arrivals, globally it is in tunes of 1.3 billion. What are we getting? 0.15%. So it means we are not doing enough to tap from tourism, and yet we have the potential. I think.
Thank you so much, Honorable Guzuri. Honorable Seungu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank the committee and the minister who is always here, because I doubt whether the senior minister still remembers the road leading him to Parliament. But, Mr. Speaker, I don't know if there were any chances of members who could get a lion's roll and hold it. One time we meet these ministers and we open it for them, and it chases them. They see the suffering of Ugandans. Because whatever is failing in this ministry is because of poor planning. We cannot be crying and the ministry continues lamenting year in, year out, whereas Ugandans are dying. Do you generate a budget from your ministry giving attention to creation or building of the fences? You have failed. There is a government assurance by government of fencing these national parks. But up to now, nothing is happening. Even when you've come today, you are not informing Parliament and the committee that we are putting in specifically money to fence these parks in this particular area where challenges are. But still, you come, I'm looking for money, and hiding all your weaknesses behind the Parliament. So if we could get a good lion, and we bring it before these ministers, and it also gives them a lesson, they can sit and plan. Because I don't know how many times you have talked about this issue of not fencing and compensating people who are dying. And the ministry continues coming here with lamentation. Here the speaker is giving very first-hand information on the same matter. And here we are. But where have you put this? Ugandans are dying. I was vice chair. There was vice chair for the Committee of Government Assurance. And we all have all this information. So, Mr. Speaker, I think you must give a directive, and we must...
Thank you. Seungu, be our Ryan. We are going to deploy Seungu as our Ryan. Honorable Aaron Mayanja.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, in Nakaseke, that is part of Ngoma, in Honorable Nyongoli's constituency, part of Wachato, part of Chinyogoga. Wild animals from Masindi, they attack our people, and some time back, that is 2 years back, I raised the matter before Parliament, but even the minister has never come to rescue our people in line of compensating them. And the ministry should have a clear approach or a clear program how to remove or how to correct the wild animals from the public. And lastly, about sensitization. Our community, our people are not aware of. They are not given the community awareness, the sensitization campaign, which should be done by the ministry in our areas that is adjacent to national parks. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a very straightforward matter. Honourable Minister, these are issues you should just look at. And now put the question that the report of the Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industry on persistent human-wildlife conflict in national parks and wildlife game reserves in Uganda be adopted. Those in favour say and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it. House adjourned to tomorrow at 2 p.m.